Supervisors, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to start with a special acknowledgement. This is an award for Kate Kerrigan, President of the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library, the 2024 Library Hero Award. Supervisor Bhaskar.
So the Library Hero Award is something that is given every, am I too loud? Sorry. So the Library Hero Award is given every year to Thanks, Ben. So the Library Hero Award is given every year to someone who, in the course of the last year, has made the most difference to the library. And we have previous award winners here in the room with us. So this is someone who, so I'd like to invite Rob Kroner, who is the chair of the Library Board of Trustees. Kate has been president of the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library for a long time, probably since before I was born, I don't know. But anyway, over to Rob.
Thank you, Bhaskar. As Bhaskar said, I'm Rob Kroner, the president of the board. I'm delighted to be here with Kate tonight. I've known Kate for 3 or 4 years now since I've been affiliated with the board, and Kate is to me the perfect example of a second act in retirement, one that combines community service, fellowship, professional and personal growth and development. She's really just an inspiration to watch as she goes about that second act, if you will. Professionally, Kate had a very successful career, initially as a middle school teacher, and then subsequently a corporate trainer and an HR professional, human resources professional. And she brought that love of books and learning with her into her retirement. She found, if you will, the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library early in her retirement. And it was just the perfect marriage of what Kate loves to do and what the Friends in the library are all about. Kate's been the president of the Friends for 15 years now, and it's no coincidence that the Red Fox Bookshop just celebrated its 15th anniversary. The impact that Kate has had on the Friends in the library is incredible and palpable. She has built a dedicated team of 20 or more talented, committed volunteers to the Red Fox Bookshop, which, by the way, is the best used bookshop in the greater Philadelphia area. Just a note on that front. You can see how they've expanded under Kate's direction the size and scope of what the bookshop's all about. Quarterly book sales, an amazing online Amazon bookshop, regular donation days. It's just really been incredible to watch what has happened under Kate's tutelage. I mean, all that, as Bhaskar said, culminates in an annual contribution to the libraries of $20,000 or more each year, and it's just remarkable what has happened. There's an adage that says, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And I think Kate demonstrates that in her retirement very, very successfully. She displays every day just an enthusiasm, a passion, a commitment to what she does. She's the glue that holds together the library, the Friends of the library, and the bookshop. And we're just delighted to honor Kate as a true library hero. She's committed to the mission of the library. She works tirelessly to see that come through. She's a great ambassador to the broader community for the library. And so, although you've been doing it for 15 or more years, it's fitting to recognize you in the 15th year on the anniversary of the bookshop. And so we would love to present you with the Friends of the Library Award, and we congratulate you very much on what you've done. And a few comments, Kate?
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. I've never been recognized before I wrote a couple of things down. I won't take long. I've never been recognized as a hero, ever. And I suspect that you're curious, probably, about how to become a hero. So I thought about it, and I'll let you in on the secret to becoming a hero. First, you join up with a great organization like the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library. You find a great cause, like the library and all libraries. Then you find a large group of real heroes and form a great team of volunteers, and they are committed to the cause. They dedicate a big chunk of their time to it, and they work hard. These volunteers are heroes. They love to read, to learn. They love books, libraries, and they are the most reliable people I've ever worked with. Then this group finds another group of heroes, and they're called donors. And these heroes also share a love of reading and books, and they donate their books when they're finished with them to the library. And on average, they donate between 50,000 and 60,000 a year books to us that go into the bookstore. And these donors are generous and proud of their public library. Other heroes in this group come and buy books. It's really become quite a thing to come to the Red Fox Bookshop. When it started out, we thought we'd make a little money for the library. And now it's turned into a big community project because people who have books that they don't want to throw away, they bring to us and we sell them. And the money goes to the library. So people who want to buy books and don't want to spend $34 for it come to the bookstore and buy very inexpensively lots of books. And so it's kind of in the door around, and we are recycling wonderful books. The money that the customers give us for the books is another group of fantastic heroes. The money goes to the library, and part of the library is this other group of wonderful, unbelievable heroes. They're the library staff, starting with the director, and every single person runs that library and appears to me as though they love it. I don't know if you, does anybody know how many public libraries there are in the USA? A guess? 17,278. Do you know how many school libraries there are? No? Higher. 98,000. So, and then there's some other kinds of libraries, small things. And so the total is 125,000 libraries are in the United States. So you can only imagine how many heroes there are. Of the public libraries, most have a friends group. And they work, and there's a lot of publicity around what they do by the American Library Association. I'm thrilled, happy that you've named me a hero, but a hero only because there are lots and lots of other heroes. The volunteers over at Tredyffrin Public Library with the Friends work And if you've ever picked up a box of maybe 50 books in it, you'll know what it's like to work at the Red Fox Bookshop. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. That was inspiring. We're going to proceed with announcements. In observance of President's Day, Township offices will be closed Monday, February 17th. Contention Lane, specifically the Contention Lane Bridge over the Chester Valley Trail and roadway sections between Coldstream Drive and Sweetsford Road will be closed to traffic starting in mid-February through March 2025 for bridge deck repairs and wood deck replacement. The Supervisors and Engineering Department remind residents and commuters that you may experience temporary roadway delays or closures during the construction of the following Township capital construction projects. Valley Forge Road ADA Signal Project. Work is being done between intersections of Walker Road through Chestwick Boulevard, Sullivan's Anthony Wayne Drive, and 2 ramps onto southbound and northbound 202. Bear Road Stormwater Project. Work is being done on drainage and stormwater improvements on Bear Road between the intersections of Mount View and Keller Road. Stratford Park Stormwater Project. Work is being done on and around the Stratford Park parking lot located off Upper Gulf Road. We thank residents for their patience and understanding as the Township and our contractors work to complete these public improvement projects. And thank you to our Public Works Office and to our Township Engineer. This is all important stuff we're doing. Approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the December 16th public meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Public comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the minutes of the January 6, 2025 organizational meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Any comments from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Township business. We're going to start Township business with an update for the Mill Road Bridge project being advanced by Chester County. And Matt Hickson is here to give us an update.
There we go. Thank you. And just waiting for the presentation to come up here. While I do that, I guess I'll just say it's not the first time we're here to talk about this bridge. Back in 2019, TPD and the county were here to present the bridge at that point. The proposed replacement at that time included maintaining the existing trusses and placing them on the outside of the new bridge to keep the aesthetics of the bridge. However, following that meeting in 2019, through coordination with the county, the township, and the Historic Preservation Society of the state, the project was paused for a bit so that the county and the township could determine how best to proceed with this project. And therefore, we wanted to come back. We've proceeded further along with the project. We wanted to give an update of where things stand. So, and I have a PowerPoint. Only I can see it right now, though. I'll give it a second here. There we go. All right. Excellent. All right. Appreciate it. So again, we're here for an update of the project, so we can show the township our proposed approach now. So again, the existing bridge, just to bring everyone up to speed, the existing bridge carries Mill Road over Valley Creek. It's a single span, 1 lane wrought iron pony truss. It is eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. Currently posted for 12-ton weight restriction. It only has a 13-foot curb-to-curb width across the bridge, while the approach roadway carries approximately 20-foot curb-to-curb. The existing span is 36 feet, and it currently carries slightly over 3,600 vehicles per day. The posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour. So the county's main reason for replacing the bridge is the weight restriction and the one-lane condition on the bridge. The scope of the project was and still is to eliminate the weight restriction, eliminate the one-lane condition across the bridge, and preserve the historic aesthetics of the existing bridge in some way. And at the same time, avoiding any impacts to the hydraulics, and making sure there's no flooding conditions. We want to keep things the way they are or improve them. So the proposed bridge, the proposed bridge will provide a 2-lane cross section across the bridge that will provide 2 10-foot lanes and 2 5-foot shoulders to improve safety across the bridge. The shoulders will tie down as quickly as possible back to existing conditions, so we minimize impacts to properties and also minimize costs. The proposed bridge will be, again, most of this has not changed. The proposed bridge will still be a pre-stressed concrete adjacent box beam bridge, and that's being done so we can provide shallow beams and eliminate impacts to the hydraulic opening of the structure. We will be providing a slightly longer span. The existing span was 36 foot, as I mentioned. The proposed bridge will be a 45-foot long bridge. We're proposing to utilize painted structure-mounted guide rail and approach guide rail to help with the aesthetics of the project. In addition to that, we're proposing to place stone veneer on the new abutments and wing walls, which will be real stone. Not a concrete form liner. And also, it's tough to see here, but the proposed wings, the wing walls which extend out along the road off the bridge, those are, a lot of times those are, they'll flare off. We wanted to maintain the look of the existing bridge with the flared, with the U-wings, they call them, that extend along the roadway. We're trying to keep the aesthetics of the bridge as much as possible. So. And then again, with the bridge widening and the added guide rail, that brings it up to current standard and improves the safety. Similar to 2019, our proposed detour still will include Yellow Springs Road, North Valley Road, and West Sweetford Road for approximately a 2-mile detour. So the question is, where is the existing truss going to go? So again, through that coordination with the SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Society, and between the county and township, it was determined that the existing truss, the truss bridge itself, the superstructure, will be moved to Warwick Park, located in South Coventry Township. It's right off of Route 23 near Mount Pleasant Road. It's about an 18-mile ride from there, and that will be placed there as to accommodate the extension of the existing trail in Warwick Park and extend that trail. So, here's the plans for what's proposed to be Warwick Park. So this is everything you see here in that typical section is the bridge on Mill Road. It's just being completely transported there. We're going to construct new abutments, concrete abutments that the bridge will sit on. The approach trail will be built, and then in the future the trail will be extended in Warwick Park. So all the primary character defining features of the bridge will be maintained, and some of the members have to be replaced, but they'll be replaced in kind. So the bridge will be designed to handle pedestrians and then maintenance vehicles in that area. So the estimated project between the Mill Road replacement and this relocation is in the range of $3 to $4 million, and that will be handled by retro reimbursement funding, so 80% state, 20% county. The proposed schedule for the project includes TBD in the county, finalizing the design in the late summer, putting it out for bid and advertising and letting to a contractor by the end of the year, and then construction starting in 2026. And I'd expect that the construction would last one construction season. So. So
What
that's
do you
it.
mean by one construct, like like the summer of 26? Is that what you're thinking, or?
You know, probably start, the current schedule would be starting in spring of 2026 and then have it open, open by fall. So that's, So again, the only change from when we came back here in 2019 is instead of having the existing trusses on the outside of the bridge, the entire truss structure itself is being moved to a park and, it can be enjoyed by pedestrians. Any questions?
No, we should just make sure the fire department knows about this project and the school board, right? It's an important bridge.
Yeah, and we'll continue to coordinate with Steve.
Yeah, no, thanks,
Okay,
thanks.
so-
No, it's an exciting project. I mean, I drive on the bridge sometimes, and it's definitely, yeah, I get it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for the update. We're excited about the project. So, thanks.
We're excited to have it built. I know the county is, so. All right, thank you.
Now we're going to start with supervisor liaison reports. Supervisor Humble.
Parks and Recreation Board will be meeting next month, February 12th at 7 PM in this building. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Holt.
We've had a number of submissions for the Arts Commission candidates, so we'll be looking at those, and we look forward to moving forward with it shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Gussie.
The Historical Commission met this month and voted to retain its current leadership with Rob Williams as chair, Eric Williams as vice chair, and Mark Dixon as secretary. The group discussed many projects for the year, including updating the ordinance for the Historic Resources Overlay District, expanding public engagement, and planning for the America 250 celebration, which will commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of the United States, and will span 2026 to 2028 for Tredyffrin Township. The Historical Commission members are also looking forward to a training workshop on this Friday, January 24th, focused on learning how to conduct historic resources surveys and make high-quality designation determinations. The next meeting of the Historical Commission will be held on February 13th.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Wysocki.
I have a report on the Planning Commission. Planning Commission met on January 16th and handled several administrative matters and considered 3 applications. First order of business was the election of 2025 Planning Commission officers. Scott Growney as chair, David Thomas as vice chair, and Jill Hammond as liaison to the EAC. Next, the Planning Commission voted to recommend to the Board of Supervisors the adoption of the 2024 Planning Commission Activities Report as required by the Municipalities Planning Code. The first application, the Planning Commission then considered the application by 435 Devon Park Drive Partners proposing an amendment to the Tredyffrin zoning ordinance which would allow existing office buildings in the LI, that's limited industrial zoning district, to be converted to multifamily residential use, subject to certain restrictions, and would also provide a definition of such residential conversion use. The Planning Commission also heard resident comments. The application was then continued to a subsequent meeting. Next, the Planning Commission granted final approval to the Tredyffrin Easttown School District for the conversion of the existing 3-story office building at 1200 Sweetsford Road to a new elementary school with related improvements. Lastly, the Planning Commission considered an application for 3 outdoor padel. I'm going to call them padel courts. Padel is a combination of tennis and squash, with associated offices at 341 East Conestoga Road, zoned C1. The Planning Commission discussed the proposal with the applicant and heard resident comments. The application was continued to a subsequent meeting. The next meeting of the Planning Commission is on February 20th. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Miller. So the Traffic Committee met on Wednesday, December 18th, and in most cases where the residents were there, it was mostly a back and forth, and we got to resolution on most of the issues. In some cases, the police department will be doing some traffic studies and come back with a recommendation. There was one item where this had to do with parking problems. I wouldn't say problems, I would say congestion issues with parents picking up their kids from Valley Forge Elementary School on Varnum Drive, Brookmead Road, and Anthony Wayne Drive. And there was a resident who was concerned wanting to have no parking signs put up. So we had a substantive discussion and basically said that the road did not justify, that parking was justified by the size, width of the road. And if people were legally parking out there, then they're legally parking out there, even if they're picking up their kids. So anyway, that one was essentially, so the resident was not satisfied with the answer. And then there was engineering updates. Glen Hardy Road Bridge was scheduled to be opened, and it was, I believe, opened the following week. And then we've already talked about the Stratford Park closure and the Bear Road Stormwater Project. So the next meeting of the Traffic Committee will be on the third Wednesday of March at 7:30, and I'm sorry, I misplaced my calendar. Moving on to so there was no meeting of the Library Board of Trustees between the last Board of Supervisors meeting and this meeting, because the Library Board of Trustees and the EAC in December meet on the first Tuesday and Thursday of the month. However, so the next meeting of the Library Board of Trustees will be on Thursday at the Stratford Library. The next meeting of the Environmental Advisory Council will be a week from today on Tuesday at the community room nearby. And I also have a brief update from EAC member Ann Murphy that there was a joint virtual program with Jenkins Arboretum, the Tredyffrin Public Libraries, Open Land Conservancy, and the EAC on January 16th on managing stormwater and streamside areas on the property. So it was well received, and there were apparently 182 participants logged in, so that is excellent. And that concludes my reports. Thank you, Chair Miller.
Oh, Supervisor Johnston Pugh. Can you hear me?
I have no report at this
Thank you.
time.
Thank you very much. Now we have a finance update. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I just wanted to briefly update the board on some of the things that are going on. Again, we just had year end. So I think looking back again, the December financials presented to the Finance Committee and the board on a cash basis, but we had a very good year overall. For December alone, we had almost $400,000 in transfer taxes. Again, we're seeing, I think we saw one commercial property sell for $10 million. That's good. So we were up year over year. Revenue was up, almost 25%. Building permit revenue was up year over year. We tapped over $2 million in revenue there. Again, I think the steady stream has been residential permits. Moving into 2025, we have lifetime living coming in, so that'll be a huge start to the year that we're expecting there. With our interest rates, again, interest rates for the majority of the year were well over, we were hovering on 4.5% for most of the year. They have come down slightly, but again, overall, we're still hovering around that 4%, and hopefully we'll be able to stay there in 2025. Again, I'll have some adjustments to make, obviously, some accruals to bring them into GAAP financials, but, when we're looking at it, I'm fully expecting to see some type of surplus at the end of the year for the township. Again, the 2024 budget had, we had planned to use almost $700,000 out of reserves. So, from a budgetary standpoint, we're looking at a surplus of, $2.5 million there if things stay where they are right now. So again, huge year, mainly again because of the revenues that we, quite frankly, can't control, right? Transfer tax and building permit revenues. But again, a good solid year. The finance department, we're still kind of wrapping up the full implementation of our general ledger, but we have our last couple pieces that we're implementing. The sewer module is our last piece, so my staff's working on getting that up and ready before we issue bills for this billing cycle. And then we'll be prepping for the audit. They'll be in a couple of months. They'll be here before you know it. So. Those are a couple of quick things, but overall, we'll be looking to take what we did in 2024 and hopefully recognize those same type of results in 2025.
Yeah, no, thank you, Joe. I just want to compliment the township staff for the hard work. I mean, delivering those kind of numbers. I mean, obviously, the revenue coming in is nothing that we did, but keeping the expenses under control is hard, and you guys do a great job and provide great service to our residents, so we appreciate all the hard work. So thank you very much. Any other supervisor comment? Thanks, Joe. Motion to reappoint Renee Hoffman, Robert Haitha, Daniel Jalboot, and Peter Zimmerman to the UCC Board of Appeals. Ms. McPherson.
Thank you, Chairman Miller, members of the
Hopefully
board.
I got those names right too, sorry.
Yeah, there's some doozies. This is the UCC Appeal Board. It sort of acts as the zoning hearing board for building codes, right? So that's its purpose. So these are members. We really don't meet that often. My understanding is there's one since I've been the director, and I think there was one before that, maybe 10 years, once every 10 years. So it's not something that happens very often. The board is made up of engineers and architects that are suitable to review building codes. So we're just making the motion to approve these people.
Thank you very much. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Second. Any comments or questions from the board? I'm sorry?
No, second.
Are you-
So did Julie.
Good. Any comments, questions? Any comments from the public?
The Unified Construction Code.
Any other questions? No, thanks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve bids for the sale of used vehicles and equipment. Oh, Mr. Draco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just seeking approval for the sale of the excess vehicles and equipment. They were put on municipal bid, sorry. Results are in the memo.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Citizen comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adopt Resolution 2025-08, designating April 25th as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month. The initiative sponsored by the Pennsylvania 811, a Utility Notification Information Center. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Yeah, this is just a standard notification to help promote the 811 call when you dig number. Anyone, if you're doing work on your property, you're always reminded that before you start digging to always call 811. They will come out and mark. There's lots of underground utilities and things on your property you may not be aware of. So this is what they do on April of each year, kind of to remind everyone to, hey, if you're going to start digging, dial 811. So please, that's an important thing, and it will obviously remind everyone again in April, but it's something you should do all year round when you're starting to dig on your property. Happy to answer other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Do I hear a second? Any comments or questions? Citizen comments or questions? It's a roll call vote. Supervisor Humble.
Aye.
Supervisor Holt.
Aye.
Supervisor Gussie.
Aye.
Supervisor Wysocki.
Aye.
Supervisor Bhaskar.
Aye.
Supervisor Johnston Pugh.
Yes.
And I vote aye. The motion carries. Motion to approve the proposal from Ring Central to replace the current phone system. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Staff is looking for authorization and approval to replace the current phone system with that of Ring Central. The monthly cost is $1,760, and then the one-time kind of training and setup is it's $7,700. At the direction and then request of the Finance Committee, our IT Director, Mike Giostante, went back to Ring Central and essentially asked them to give us the hardware for free, which they are doing. They are going to give us the phones for free and included that in that. So happy to answer any questions.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any board comments or questions?
Yeah, I did, when I saw the request, I did go through, so this is not an area where I'm an expert, but I was able to go do some research, and Ring Central appears to be a reputable provider, so assuming that we've done the analysis of the costs, I think this is reasonable.
Thank you, Supervisor Bhaskar. Any other comments from the board? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Motion to authorize the Chief Operating Officer to open 2 new bank accounts for the libraries. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm just looking for authorization to open 2 new banks at WSFS, or 2 new accounts at WSFS. The library collects some fines and fees via Square. They had accounts with Wells Fargo they're moving away from. WSFS is who we use for our main operating accounts, and they have proximities that are close to both branches. So happy to answer any questions.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Your
Motion.
second? Any board comments or questions?
So, I did have a question, which is, you came and gave a presentation to the library board, and that was to replace some funds that are currently sitting with Chester County Library System. Is this the replacement for that, or is this something different?
Yeah, this is something different. They still, I think, are still discussing that and waiting to approve it. That's going to be for, I'll ask the board to approve putting that money in Pliget. This is simply, they have fines and fees that they collect that they just need a local branch to be able to get money in and if they need to.
Thank you.
Any other board? Oh, go ahead.
Joe?
Yes.
Hi, let me ask a question. With them transferring to WSFS, I can't say it, are they going to get charged a monthly fee if they don't keep X amount of dollars in there because it is just for fines and things of that nature? Or is the bank going to waive that because, it's a library and nonprofit, what have you?
Yeah, they'll be under our umbrella, so no fees will be charged, and I'll obviously push the bank to make sure they give us the best interest rate on the money.
Okay, thank you.
If there's any other board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Abstain.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Motion to approve the demo contract for 595 Park Ridge Drive. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As part of a 2021 grant that Mr. Burgo received and worked through FEMA and PEMA for, the township just recently purchased the property at 595 Park Ridge. As part of the grant program, we're required to demolish the house within 90 days of purchase. And so in order to stick to that timeline, Public Works Department actually worked pretty hard to find a contractor that was that had co-stars, that was co-stars eligible. Steve looked at it, FEMA looked at it. So the cost is $86,100. That's covered as part of the grant, and so that'll be reimbursable to us. Happy to answer any questions.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
Any board comments or questions?
Joe, just if the folks who don't know out there haven't followed this story, this is for stormwater management, and it's through FEMA, and we end up owning and demolishing to meadow those homes, and we take them out of harm's way, and we take them out of harm's way for our first responders. So that's what the program is, and that's what this is all about, and that's what this demolition is all about. So thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor Wysocki. Any other board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve capital purchase of police vehicles. Chief Beatty.
Thank you. At this point, we're trying to get the approvals from the approved capital budget to access and complete the purchase orders for the 3 vehicles to complete the fleet. These are not additional vehicles to the fleet. They'll be phasing out older, high-mileage vehicles that'll go back into the auction, and money's recovered later. But we're looking for the approval to buy a Ford Lightning, which will be used by the Traffic Safety Division, a Chevy Tahoe, which will be used for the patrol supervisors, and a Ford police utility, which is basically Explorer for patrol. What we try and do is mix the fleet around for different size officers, different capabilities, different also equipment needs that are in the vehicle. So it's just once again, it's a continued mix just to keep putting the best product out there on the line. So, and once we get the vehicles, there still has a upfit cost, which will come in over time, but this is a motion to approve the beginning of that process to start placing the orders.
Thank you, Chief Beatty. Do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Maybe a second?
Second.
Yeah, thanks. Any comments or questions from the board? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to reject bids for Wilson Farm Park improvements. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Unfortunately, I'm recommending to the board that we reject the bids that we received for Wilson Farm Park improvements. We have between grant funding and township funding, a little over $2 million for this project. The bids came back at $2.7 million. So what we'll do hopefully is go back to the drawing board, review the bid package with Simone Collins, and then I'll hopefully come back to the board and ask to re-advertise and come back with a successful project.
Thank you, Mr. Duraco. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Do I hear a second? Second. All right. Any board comments or questions?
I'll just say that it was disappointing to get this news. We want to get this project moving quickly. Joe, you've made me a promise that we'll get this before the board very quickly and repackaged out. There were some weird bids that came back. So although I really want to move forward on here, we've had the money since 2019. It's well, not all the money, but some of it. We are going to move forward. It's high on our radar. It's going to happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor Holt. I would emphasize the same point, which is the project was conceived in 2019. I guess it shouldn't be surprising that prices are different today, but we are very, very committed to getting this done. So we're going to work on this hard and get it rebid and get it done in the summer. So thank you. Any other board comments?
Just one question. This doesn't impact, the timing doesn't impact the grant in any way, like we have plenty of time?
Yeah, I'll let our, essentially our contact at DCNR know that, we are going to rebid. And then what I will do now that we have these numbers, we'll, again, when we go to repackage the new bid, I'll probably ask the board to fund a little bit more, and I'll go back to DCNR and ask them to fund 50% of that additional cost. So we'll work with that and try to come up with some numbers for when we go out to bid again.
Anything else?
Public comment or questions? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the following escrow releases. Mr. Burgo.
Chairman Miller, members of the board, the two release requests this evening, one for 105 Vincent and one for 958 Mount Pleasant Road. Both are partial release requests. They're the second release request, and there is money remaining in each of the two accounts. 105 Vincent is for grading and seeding, erosion and sediment control, and stormwater systems on 2 of the 3 lots that have been completed. That amount requested is $72,687.45. And the amount for 958 Mount Pleasant is $9,416. That one is for concrete pins and monuments and iron pins, trees, shrubs, stabilization, seeding, concrete curb, and some road grading. The work has been inspected, and it is recommended for the release by the board this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Burgo. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Any board comments? So I just have to ask about the seeding and the planting. I'm assuming this was all done months ago.
They had, basically, as part of any of these projects, they had temporary seeding and stabilization put down, so nothing obviously is going to grow during this period, but they're still obligated to put some temporary seed and straw, down, or matting down on the property. It will be revisited. That's why we still have contingency monies left in here, and we still have other remaining escrow. It will be checked later this spring.
Any other board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to establish the Reapportionment Advisory Committee. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Tonight, I am here asking for your direction to appoint a Reapportionment Advisory Committee, as outlined in my memo to the board. Our charter requires that we do reapportion the district supervisors. As part of that process, Chairman Miller and I have been discussing the best way to approach this. During the fall, solicitor and staff had a conference call with Chester County in terms of process and what we need to do as part of a reapportionment of our districts. And as our discussions with Chairman Miller, he recommended a resident, Mr. Doug Onestad, who actually had done some of the similar work for the school district when they had to reapportion some of their school district boards, and did a really good job. So we had some conversations. He put together a working map that we looked at, and it seems to be a very good opportunity to work with him in this process. So we're asking for recommendation to include Mr. Doug Onestad as a member of this reapportionment committee, and of course, one member from each of the political parties, along with the existing supervisors from the 3 districts. I think that would be a working committee that we would move forward, develop a couple different alternatives, bring them back to the board and the public, and then move through that process. Once approved, the final proposal will go to the Department of State and Chester County for review, and from there it will be finalized. So we're happy to answer any questions. Again, this is just to set up the committee itself to let Doug and the political parties and our supervisors start working on some various alternatives to our existing wards. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any board comments or questions?
So I just had a question, which is that we're really not talking about redrawing the precincts. We're talking about, reallocating the precincts to the districts, and at some point, Chester County, if they come through and redo the precincts, and of course, we've got to go through the process all over again.
Correct. That was kind of why we asked Doug to take a look at this from a high level. His map is pretty workable, and some of the things he's putting together. It may end up during the working group discussion that we may have, depending on how we move the precincts into the different 3 districts, that it may affect the precincts, but we're hoping that's not the case. If that does become more complicated, then we certainly consider bringing in like a consultant RVE, who we discussed at some point. But I think right now, just moving precincts from one district to another might be able to get us the fair and equitable result that we're looking for.
Thank you.
Any other board comments or questions? Resident comments or questions? Sure, come on to the microphone, please.
Have we ever, my name is Sandy Forbes. Have we ever had such an advisory committee before?
So normally redistricting, yeah, on our chart is supposed to happen every 10 years once the new census is certified. Looking back, the most recent one, it was done in 92 or 2000, so it's been a while. So it's usually every 10 years, but generally you have an advisory committee kind of work on it, make proposals so the public can take a look at them. They bring in 2 or 3 proposed maps showing that the districts are equitably aligned and fair voting. So they have to create maps and show everybody, and then it gets approved by the Board of Supervisors and moves the process along. So yes, it's been done in the past. Yeah.
And where does that every 10 years come from? Where is that a
The
regulation?
U.S. Census is done every 10, and our charter has said after the census is certified, as you know, COVID was delayed for the 2020 census.
So it's the charter.
Our charter does require us to do it every census.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other public comments or questions? And I promise we're going to make this really very transparent process and make sure people see what we're doing. And so we'll make sure people see what's happening. Don't worry. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Do any board new matters?
Quick question for Steve. I'm sorry to put him on the spot, but have there been any updates on the Branch Avenue project, those homes? I know there's a controversy. There's things going around that the streets weren't being completed, the electric wasn't being, I know it's more of an Easttown Township issue too, but I just wanted to follow up on that because that was a concern.
The only thing we could update at this point is there has been an email, I think, from our consultant from Princeton Hydro to the contractor, and they have laid out a little bit of a timeline for some work to be going on through the winter and the early spring. Most of the activities that they have, the concrete sidewalk and the paving can't be done till the spring, as well as the plantings, the things that they didn't get done in the fall. But there is, I think there was an email that went by, I believe last week, that identified like a springtime expectation that they'd be doing that work this spring. So that's the only update we have right now. We certainly can provide it as we get more details from them.
Thank you so much.
Any other board new matters? The only thing I would say is I'll put Mr. Burgo on the spot also here and just talk about the Glen Hardy Road Bridge. You want to talk about the Christmas Eve surprise with Glen Hardy Road Bridge being opened?
Well, we had a ribbon cutting, I guess, on the 23rd, so that the bridge was substantially completed, and we were able to kind of do a rush. We did a quick ribbon cutting, and we got the bridge open to traffic. So I think we started in late September, so it's actually less than 3 months for our construction. Only wish the Turnpike could have done their construction anywhere near as quickly as we did for that bridge, but I think it turned out well. I think the residents seem to be happy. We'll be back in the spring. Our contractor will be back when the weather gets nice to plant some trees and shrubs, touch up the seating, and then they are going to stain the wall to make it look more like a natural stone wall with the finish.
Oh, fantastic. I think that it was a great result getting it done so quickly. I think surprise for everybody that it was open that fast. So thank you very much. Any citizen new matters?
Make sure you turn your microphone on. Yep.
Hi there. My name is Zach Henrik. I've been a Tredyffrin resident for 5 years now. And I wanted to thank you for allowing the public to attend these meetings. I found it deceiving at first, right? I was like, oh wow, the whole town showed up, but now we have Zach, Sandy, and the board. My matter is actually outside of the jurisdiction of the township, but it does affect Tredyffrin residents. I was encouraged to come here by 2 Tredyffrin law enforcement officers. I myself am not a law enforcement officer, but I'm a graduate of the Citizens Police Academy, class of 2023. But for my matter, it has to deal with exterior lighting in my neighborhood, very bright lighting, and then I also think that it's a public health concern as well. I have 5 packets of information. They're all the same. It's for 5 people, so I didn't know how many people would be here. But I was just wondering if I could distribute these to people who may have been familiar with the Regional Street Light Procurement Program, which took place in the township in 2019 and 2020. Would I be able to distribute like 5 packets, and you could share if needed with people near you. So can you raise your hand if you think a packet could be helpful? So thank you for this. So I live on Drummers Lane. It's the Glen Hardy condominium complex. Has anybody golfed at Glen Hardy Country Club? All right. It's a nice 9-hole par 3 golf course. The concern that I have is that my neighborhood, my HOA, upgraded their lighting infrastructure around the beginning of the year 2024. What I've found by my experience of living there, and again, I've been a resident for 5 years. I've very much enjoyed my time for 4 years, but my last year has been disrupted by this very bright lighting. So the first page is just a visual of my experience, kind of with the clip art showing light trespass versus friendly lighting. I'm sure this came up too during the street light procurement program, where you want lighting to not interfere with, shine down, have the right color temperature. Unfortunately, this is just through the lens of my cheap camera, but it's showing from my bedroom window, just very bright white lights that are not shielded. They shine at all heights and all angles. I think between these two pictures, I think that's around 8 lights or so, but there's even more that I didn't capture. And then the one in the middle shows that the timing of the lights is not controlled. So the reason why I talked to law enforcement officers was because this past weekend, the lights were on almost nonstop during a cloudy or rainy day. So the light sensors just allow the lights sometimes to be on for, in some instances, throughout the whole day, 24 hours nonstop. So I just wanted any advice or any help that the Board of Supervisors could provide, whether it's a lighting consultant or someone or a firm that could potentially just help out my neighborhood. I think my board was not aware of best practices for implementing an upgrade to LED bulbs. And so the public health concern as well has to do with the color of the light, how it's very bright, and it actually messes with people's circadian rhythm. So these lights are meant to mimic daylight. And so if you're walking around outside, your body's not producing melatonin, and the suppression of melatonin leads to there's a connection between that and different illnesses. So just for these reasons and others, I'm just seeking relief from this issue and trying to correct it too. So I don't want to give up on Tredyffrin Township. I don't want to give up on Glen Hardy. So I am making a run to join the board at the HOA there, because they do have control over the decisions there. I'm also going to be going around the neighborhood, raising awareness for the issue and getting signatures on a petition to try to influence the board. But and I'm here too. So I'm just trying to see what my options are. And then obviously this is an important issue to me. And if I'm not able to solve it, like I'm not ignorant, right? I know that we can't go back to the way things were, or LED lights are terrible and stuff, but the proper implementation of it is important to me. And if it can't be done, I guess I would have to seek relief by moving elsewhere and selling my property. So if there's any advice or any help that you can provide, I would really much appreciate it. I have my contact information. I could leave as well.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I was on the board when we did the switch to LED, and I personally took a deep dive, as you did here, and I remember all of this research on the warmth and the lumens, and for all these reasons, getting it right and making sure we could adjust it and do timing. So I don't know that, so sounds like it's HOA, it's not township, correct?
That's my understanding.
So I'm not sure how much we can help. But I do remember when we did that study, they provided information on the colors, and is that available on our website? The original?
I don't know if it is, but I know I have it somewhere, so I'm happy.
If we could get his contact and provide that,
Yeah.
at least it's like the study, here's what, you could provide it to them. Here's what the township did.
Yeah.
We voted.
I have a deck from 2019 I found from the website.
Yeah, so I would provide that and say, I mean, we had a whole discussion on the
So,
color.
yeah, like you had a table with townships and boroughs showing that only that warm colored lighting
Yeah.
was appropriate, and
And then we actually voted and discussed it on the floor, so you can share that, here was the research provided, here's why they made that decision, and.
Yeah, that'd be helpful, Joe. Yeah. Just if you have a copy of that discussion.
I don't think I'm
Well-
mistaken. I think that you, Julie, brought to us.
I did a big
And you
deep
did a lot
dive.
of, you did the work, and we actually, this was important. And we brought the lumens down or did something, yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but I know we had a big.
remember that specifically, and because, we were worried about providing enough light at night and et cetera, but it can be done. And I remember that discussion and the vote, so. And the
And
information that were provided and the research that you did too, so.
And Joe, if you happen to know the date of the meeting, because our meetings are all online, so if you know the date, then, and I might be able to find that too. You can actually see the discussion, and I don't know if that's helpful or not, but you can, provide to them that this is what the township
So
did.
these slides are December 16th, 2019, so there would be a recording of that?
Yes.
All the videos are on tttv.com, or if you search TTTV, you'll find the website, or it's probably also on our website.
If you go on our website, type in TTTV, you'll see, then it'll be like on demand. You'll be able to watch the video.
So every one of our board meetings, you
Thank
can go back and watch. But if you have trouble finding it, reach out to us, and you'll be connecting with Joe.
And is there any connection to professional lighting consultants or anyone that could guide Glenn Hardy to implement best practices?
We had information from our consultant for that study. I don't know if that's a resource or not.
You could probably reach out to really any landscape architect. They'll be able to help you. They should be able to help you out.
Yeah, more research needed. Yeah. All right, thank you.
So just to comment, I was not on the board at that time, though I was a member of the audience. So, basically look for 2700 Kelvin is the color temperature you want. And the other thing is that we've become more aware of it since then. We are located on a major bird flyway. And if you could, and lights do distract the birds, the migrating birds. So to the extent that we want to make sure that they're directed downwards, and also if we can put them on like motion sensors rather than, timers, or just having them on, that would also be helpful. But again, this is a private property, so it's the amount of leverage we have is limited.
I have noticed a change in the behavior of animals in the area. Deer are now actually getting closer to the building, maybe because they are attracted to the light because it represents daylight for some reason. It's perplexing in some ways, but yeah, thank you for mentioning motion sensors. These lights at 2,900 lumens are almost as bright as car headlights, but unlike car headlights, they don't drive by or drive away or turn off, right? They're on constantly throughout the night, so thank you.
Good luck.
I have a question, Mr. Hendrick. And I have lived in Glen Hardy there before, so I understand how it is.
Which building?
Jefferson. And do you know if the HOA went to these brighter lights because of safety concerns?
Correct. Their goal was, they received complaints that it wasn't lit enough, and
Right.
I feel that they've gone to the extreme where it's too lit. Yeah, it's actually changed the whole atmosphere at night. Glen Hardy used to have that colonial atmosphere to it, and that's completely gone. It's almost lit up like a construction site at night with glaring lights.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Any other board help we can provide this gentleman? I'm just asking, is anybody else, we have any other comments now? Good luck, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Any other citizen new matters? The next meeting is scheduled for February 18th. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much,
Aye.
everybody.